Okay, so tell me a little bit about this Halloween tea event. How did that come about? Like, what motivated you to do it?
Yeah, well, um, I was thinking, what kinds of fun networking, community building events do I want to go to? What would I like to see in our local area? And how can I create a safe space for other people to want to get together and really start building um, those connections? I found that after the pandemic, people were having a hard time connecting, and there was still a lot of fear and anxiety. And I thought, well, I like hosting gatherings. I like being able to talk with people and engage, and I love Halloween. And so I'm like, these two go hand in hand really well. And so that's why the witches and warlock high tea came into mind, and then into reality.
hmm So, like, what can be expected if I, for example, showed up to this Halloween tea event? What would I see? Would I see people? Would I see food, drinks? Just give me a general sense of what I would see if I showed up.
Yeah. So when you first show up, you're welcomed, and you're able to then enter into a space that's decorated as kind of like this hedge witch vibe with these beautiful forest animals, such as like a fox, cookie jar, squirrels and leaves and pumpkins. And so on the right hand side, you would see a beautiful layout of different kinds of foods and drinks. On the left hand side, you'd have tables with different kinds of activities for people to engage with one another. Against the wall directly in front of you would be a space for people to take pictures. And so it's this fantasy um, fairy landscape with these leaves around it and twinkly lights. And people could just gather around with their friends or take selfies in that space. And then against the wall, behind the tables, is a space for people to engage in other activities. So, for instance, there's a palm reading station that people could go to and have these cards on a table, and they would pick and choose like, okay, well, my hands look like this is the future that I can see and learn. And then another table, they have a fortune telling based off of tea leaf readings. And so then they would, have this special cup they would drink from, and then they would have these other set of cards where they can pull the different kinds of symbols that they found in their drink. And so then another table, the last table, is just a nice little information on the various benefits of teas and how it gives them a little bit of education based on like the teas that we have available there, the mixtures, and what kinds of health benefits they can receive. And so when they decide to sit down, if they come by themselves, then they have these interactive questions that they can ask their peers. And if they get enough stamps, then they can choose from a goodie box. And so it really encourages people to mingle and chat. And then also costumes are strongly encouraged. And so if enough people gather and dress up, then there's the best dressed winning prize. One of which, let me see if I can pull it out, is, yeah, let me take it out of the wrapping. You get a crown.
Oh,
Let me
that's nice.
see. You get a crown, you have a scepter, and then you also have this cape. And so the winning person gets crowned as the best dressed for the evening towards the end. And then you know it's high tea, and so you have on the different tables various kinds of goodies that they can pick and choose that are also Halloween themed for the witch hedge witch theme. And then you have the different drinks, the teas, and then also the tea themed cocktails that you can choose from.
Wow, that I would definitely go to this party for sure. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. It's a lot of good stuff. My next question is how does this sort of event bring the community together? In other words, like what impact does organizing these Halloween theme events like the one you have really create a sense of community, belonging, what have you?
Yeah. Well, to me, these are low stakes, low stress environments where people aren't expected to have this professional aura that's fully polished. They're not expected to come to the gathering with, a full list of set questions that they have to somehow get responses from people. It's just a low stakes, have fun um, environment where people are encouraged to connect with their inner child, to be able to um, have that ease that we all had at one point before we became adults and tried to fit a certain type of persona. And so it really gives people a chance to just come, be playful, and just want to encourage other people to be themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. Like how is this event different from a more traditional Halloween themed event? Because, when you think of Halloween, you sort of see little kids and their parents dressed up with all sorts of costumes. How is that different? I know it's like for adults, right? It's an
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, to me, it's different, but it's also the same because again, it's asking people to connect with their inner child. It's asking them to let down their guard of seriousness and to be young again. And it's also, in my mind, different than the ghoulish Halloween because um, you're not going to see like I don't know, like a scary ghost running around or a blood and gore. You're not going to see any of that. You're going to see like these beautiful, fantastical um, forest creatures. You're going to see mushrooms that have moss on them. It's more, in my mind, inviting and warm, and it kindles a greater sense of home and welcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Uh, like yeah, like how I know you like talked a bit about this, but how does it sort of create that sort of vibe of like how does this event really create that feel of like of the of Halloween, so to speak?
Mhm.
Like how does that sort of create that in a way? I know I'm kind of rambling a bit, but how does this event in particular create that sort of comfort, Halloweenish type vibe that everybody enjoys?
Yeah, yeah. Well, to me, Halloween's one of those few times where you can step into an imaginary world where you can um, set aside uh, the realities of our life and step into that joyful sense of community that we all seem to share on Halloween, where it's okay to knock on someone's door and ask for candy, where it's okay to dress up as your favorite character. And to me, that the event is an extension of that. It's giving you permission to dress up as your favorite character. You don't need the excuse to borrow your uh, niece or nephew. you, you you're invited and encouraged to dress up. Um, and I think because you're giving this world that you can step into, um, again, Halloween being one of those few days where you can do that, you're given permission to do that. I think that's how it's an extension of the tradition that all of us have come to love and look forward to.
Hmm. Uh, like what sorts of things have you heard from members of the community in the lead up to this event? What have you heard from like people that you've talked to, neighbors, friends, family members?
Um, a lot of it's along the same lines as what you've said. This is a party that they would love to go to. They wish they had thought of this. That they're really looking forward to being able to try out all the different tables with the different activities. That they're really excited about being able to connect with other people um, in a fun environment. That so often they go to events and they don't know what to say. They feel awkward trying to connect with people. But this one, it invites people to participate and to engage without having to feel like it's forced.
Hmm. My last question, I guess, is what can people take away from this event? Like what do you hope this event will do in the long run?
Yeah, no, I love that question. Um, my hope in the long run is that people will get to know each other's names. People will laugh, that they will be able to engage in conversations with those that are different from themselves. That when they see each other at another event or they see each other walking down the street, that they'll say hello and they'll talk. That it'll start bringing people closer together.
Hmm. I think so much of that was lost during COVID with like everybody was masked and socially distanced, but I think now more and more people are starting to go to places, go to events, restaurants, what have you. So it's, yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with you completely. It's so nice that we're getting those parts back again.
Hmm. Yeah, it's great to see that.
Mhm.